everyone, my name is Samantha and my partner Maddie and I are going to be discussing with you Chapter 3 from the book Outlaw Woman by Susan Dewey, Bonnie Zare, Catherine Connolly, Rhett Empler, Rosemary Bratton, and the publisher NYU Press. This chapter examines different women and their incarcerated experiences with violent victimization, rural woman and intimate partner violence, and women as violent perpetrators. This chapter goes into depth about various situations these women endured and their reasoning for their reactions. We want to talk about 3 different women and their stories and how society infers different common beliefs and alternate viewpoints with their different experiences. Jania is the first woman we are going to speak about, a mother to 2 boys who experienced severe trauma by her husband after he beat her so bad she fell unconscious and needed to get her jaw wired shut. The story states that the physician on call at the small emergency room looked unsurprised when Earl explained that she had tripped over just a laundry basket. I think most people would think in a situation like this that authorities would get the woman alone to have her explain her situation instead of having the husband speak on the behalf, because the amount of trauma she experienced should have been a red flag first. The book explains how after these women have become prisoners, they perform self-injury, which demonstrates a complex balance of agency and their often extensive experiences as victims. But we would think that after they get out of these abusive situations, that they wouldn't want to experience that pain anymore. Jania stayed with her husband and able to provide for her kids, but later ended up killing the husband because she couldn't handle the torture anymore. She explains that she's relieved that both of her sons grew up in safe homes because she hated them witnessing her pain, because it affected them as well. Both boys ended up serving in the military and starting their own families. We often characterize women who are abused to have access to helpful resources to be able to get help, and they don't utilize them, but in reality, majority of the women are trapped from the real world by their abuser. Once this is repeated for years and years, women begin to think it is a normal behavior. Itzel put up with the abuse for years, along with caring for her house and their newborn daughter, all at the same time. Itzel and her partner dealt methamphetamine, claiming it to be their only source of income. During one of their drug deals was when Itzel endured a lot of anger she was building up, which caused her to react, leading her to kill her husband. We often think of women who are abused as weak and scared, but never quite think of how much anger and stress they are experiencing within. Women who appear in court for self-defense justifications require a skilled legal team and expert witnesses to stand in court, which most abused women lack access to such resources. Society thinks these women have access to all of these resources to help them in situations, but these resources are not reliable to help these women. Instead, it puts them in deeper problems.
Another woman introduced to us in this chapter is Tammy. Tammy is a recovering addict currently serving some prison time at the Adult Community Corrections, or the ACC facility. Tammy had been at the facility for 6.5 months and had been taking pills for her bipolar disorder while at the facility. It was noted by the authors that Tammy did not ever sell her pills to other inmates and was proud of herself for doing so. Many people assume that people in addiction programs or prisons do not really want to overcome their past disorders and get help, but this was not the case for Tammy. Tammy was also relatively thin, by nature, and also had many red welts on her arms due to self-harm. So she was frequently picked on by fellow women at the ACC. However, Tammy recalls how much differently life was during her time at the ITU. She remembers how even though women would pick on her for her size and the welts on her arms, some of the women would step in to defend her and call out the other people for their wrongdoings. Society paints a picture that these facilities are full of hostile and cold people, when in fact, a lot of meaningful relationships can come out of being in one of these facilities. Tammy recalls how disoriented she felt after returning to the general population after her prison sentence. She no longer had the supportive and safe environment that she did while in the ITU. The idea that getting back into the outside world is easy and simple for the men and women who have spent time in prison or in one of these facilities is just simply not true for everyone. Tammy also holds a fast food job in which she earns money and saves it for when she gets out of the ACC. She mainly saves it for rent, in hopes that she will be able to live with her 3-year-old daughter Ava once her prison sentence is over. Many women in the facilities have family issues similar to Tammy's, and therefore bond with each other and support one another through their tough times. Many strong bonds, as well as healthy relationships, can be formed while in prison, contrary to popular beliefs. Throughout this chapter, the authors examined 3 women, Janaea, Itzel, and Tammy. These women all struggled with either violent perpetrators, drug abuse, or both, and were all sentenced to either prison sentences or into correctional facilities. All of these women have many stereotypes going against them, such as they should have sought help when they were being abused or abusing drugs, or that killing their husband meant that they were the abuser in the relationship, when maybe they had nowhere else to go. All 3 of these women were pushed to the edge in different ways. While some of them are serving life sentences, they all noted that their time spent at the facilities stated in this chapter have helped them form bonds with others, have helped them improve their outlooks on life, and have helped them become more capable people when dealing with their past abuse and mental issues.